Messi. Suarez has got to wait for support or go it alone. Nods it back to Messi, chips it back to Messi. Messi tries a shot. Not too far away.
Not too far away. Lovely ball from Messi in the first place. That's one of the longest 1-2s I've ever seen. The ball through from to Suarez. Absolutely lovely. No question that he was onside. I thought there, when he take a look over his shoulder, he was going to hit it first time. He's got that within his arsenal. Instead, when he's had the ball tapped away from underneath, this is odd. Look at that first touch.
Yeah.
That's really odd from Messi. Still the shot bears threat.
It's almost as though the shot was almost in annoyance at the poor control, wasn't it? I'll show him.
He nearly did too.
Clement Lenglet. Halfway through the opening period. Barcelona 1-0 up. The goal scored by the number 2, Nelson Semedo. This is Leo Messi. Busquets. Rakitic to Jordi Alba. Gets it back from Coutinho. Coutinho struggling. And the throw quickly taken. Clement Lenglet. Piqué to Vidal. And back to Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Stuani will go in to put some pressure on him. Rakitic returning it to the German shot stopper. Messi. Neat ball again. Rakitic. Well, again, it seemed to wait too long for the overlap from Jordi Alba. Possibly had an option to shoot himself, Rakitic there.
It's an automatismo, as they say, isn't it? That when you're in that position for Football Club Barcelona, you expect Jordi Alba to be arriving like a train. The weight of the ball wasn't good. He did wait too long as well. It's arguable now whether the assistant referee got that offside call correct or not, but Rakitic's role, having made a really nice run, as we look at Messi's shot in anger, as you called it. It was funny how Barcelona were strolling around the pitch and not much pressure were forced back to ter Stegen. And the way in which Girona waited with their press allowed Messi to drop deep, Stegen to find him, and then that whole move to begin.
The brollies are coming out in Montilivi as that black cloud we mentioned at the beginning of the game has burst open.
You did, you sort of said, tut tut, it looks like rain, and the fact that most of this stadium is open means that I hope that the spectators brought their swimming trunks and their goggles, because it's going to be very, very wet.
Busquets is Suarez taking on Alcalá and running out of space and running out of support, although Messi's there. Loose one falls for Pere Pons. He finds Porro. Porro over the top. It's a chase for Porto, but ter Stegen, calm as you like, plays it out to Rakitic. Now Lenglet. Alba. Busquets. Gerard Piqué. Busquets, plenty of time to think. He picks out Vidal. Semedo outside him. Vidal, Messi. Alba, back to Messi. And in the end, it's really well defended. It'll be a corner for Barca. That's a defence that have done their homework, isn't it?
It is, it absolutely is. And Porro's one heck of an athlete. He's a very, very exciting footballer. For the La Liga's point of view, it's an awful shame that Man City own him and could repatriate him. But yeah, that's a lovely battle. Expected, as did you. Porro against Alba all day will be fascinating.
Coutinho takes the short corner. Leo Messi on the ball. Coutinho. Well, not the greatest cross. It'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, a player who needs to do some range finding, a player needs to find confidence, crispness.
There's that goal again. Semedo just sneaking up there, originally looking for the overlap, waiting for the ball wide for him to chase onto and put the cross in. And just happened to be lurking there when the ball fell nicely. Here he is again, Semedo. Back to Vidal. Dinks it in towards Messi. He can't quite get the touch he wanted.
Yeah, that goal that you're talking about there is a harsh lesson for Valerie, who at 19 and who only a month or so ago, with this terrific left-back crisis that the club have been suffering, Mojica, Planas, but particularly Adai, long-term missing. He's played really well there, but will you say we'll blame him, say you went to sleep there, you allowed your opposite number to drift in behind you, or is that the type of thing that takes seasons to even think of? Because Semedo was in a strange position. You don't expect him to be a striker, you expect him to be well behind you in case the ball goes long, and he was caught napping. And
of course, I mean, you know, quite clearly playing out of position whenever he's been there. He is not a left back, is he?
He's not, and I think it's an enormous testimony of what Eusebio thinks of him, that he's been placed there when in the past they've played Granai for
hasn't he?
Yeah, I think the challenge that you pointed out you thought was bookable did indeed lead to a booking. And it seems like the VAR officials agree with us. Albeit that Porto took a big risk.
Clement Lenglet it was who... made what used to be called a professional foul.
Yeah, which leaves him in a situation, having been sent off in the last game against Girona in the league during that 2-2 to deleterious effect. Huge problem for Barcelona that day. Means that he's got to be very careful, and Vermaelen should be warming up.
Rather loose ball back from Vidal. It's well won there by Ponce. Porto with the header, glancing, and the reaction there of Stuani fairly easy to read. He felt he had a better opportunity than Porto if that one had got through.
And again, a little bit of kudos, I think, as we see the booking that Longley committed, no question, on Porto. But Rakitic's foul looked to me to be something that probably Girona would rather have got, given their prowess in the air and Barca's difficulty with the ball into the box. The advantage led to an effort towards goal, but not on goal. Good refereeing to give the advantage, but I think Girona would have benefited more if Rakitic's foul had led to a free kick.
Rakitic it is, finding Coutinho. Leaves it for Messi. Busquets gives it away again. Here's Porto taking on Lenglet. Got away with him, but Jordi Alba was there to offer support. Coutinho. Good run. Got Messi with him. Suarez to his left. Rakitic leaves it for Messi. Here it is, Rakitic. And brilliantly defended once again.
Yeah, Bono, the Moroccan-Canadian, didn't know that Rakitic was offside. He had to make the save.
Yeah.
Rakitic, you know...
Here, 5 in the box. Ter Stegen comes out, and the defense gets a touch.
Which I think was unlikely in the extreme, is Granel's cross driven in low. And finally, it's cleared by Clement Lenglet. Some very slow decision taking, I think, both in attack and defence there in the Barca area. Porro back to Garcia. And here's Aleix Granel. Awkward one in. And Clement Lenglet got the last touch. It'll be a corner.
Yeah, the chaos that was caused in the penalty area there, the way in which we've now seen Ter Stegen come out a couple of times into traffic and not get where he needs to be. Look at that indecision. He gets a providential arm on it, the German. Once he's misjudged and the header comes in, but Barcelona are not comfortable when the ball is in the box.
The corner high, floated in. Nobody quite gets to it, and the referee...
Ball's gone out of play, and Ter Stegen was the first to see it, and I think that he was waving his arm and shouting at the referee in pure German relief there, Simon.
That'll be Ter Stegen to put the ball back in play. That's a tight one, but Ter Stegen saw it clearly. Piqué joined him.
And the flag's up instantly. There's that providential arm. He's just making his body big. He doesn't know anything about it, but he knows he's shown good technique.
Well, it's Aleix Granel down, and the yellow card out, we believe, for Aleix Vidal. Arturo Vidal, I beg your pardon. So a second booking for a Barca player, and here's the reason why. You can't raise your foot quite that high, Arturo, whether you're a warrior or not.
Well, there should be a new award,
Flying
as well as
warrior.
the yellow card that he got there. There should be some sort of maybe purple or violet card for congratulations for a man of nearly 32 who can do a Uriah like that in the middle of the pitch. But it's against the rules.
Yeah, Aleix Granel was the man on the receiving end, and he's the man with the ball in his hands.
But González Fuertes is really annoyed Leo Messi, and it's not about this decision. And I have to be honest with you, I didn't see what it was that has got the great man so angry with the man in black.
Maybe the offside that was given against Rakitic when he was...
It's unusual to see Messi so uptight.
The defence clear, Coutinho heads on, Messi chests it down, getting away from Granel, although Granel responds well. Messi holds on to it, picks out Rakitic. Lovely footwork from Rakitic. Goes down, free kick. Brought down by Bernardo. Van Rakitic showing some lovely close control there, as Valverde looks a little concerned. Vidal to Semedo. Forced back, and Piqué plays it all the way back to Ter Stegen. Clement Lenglet on the ball. Busquets. Still Busquets, manages to get away from Garcia. Coutinho. In the end, Busquets' challenge on Aleix Garcia that was allowed to go by the referee. Pere Pons does well. Granel plays it wide to Porro, who struggles to control that, whips the cross in to the edge of the box. Piqué firmly getting the better of Pere Pons there. Here's Arturo Vidal. He's got Semedo outside him to his right. Suarez calling for it through the middle. Now Messi trying to return it to Semedo. Was perhaps a bit late to see the return ball. Busquets. Alba calling for it. Instead it's given to Semedo. Suarez goes down on the edge of the box, having got the better of his man and staying down, to almost universal jeers from the home fans.
Yeah, I thought he lost his balance. I have to say, González Fuertes impressed me immediately, not just on the replay, about whether that was or wasn't a foul. I doubted Suarez had been fouled. Still don't think he was.
But he stays down. Here's Bernardo Espinosa. Alcalá. Throw into Girona. 5 minutes to go in this first half. 1-0 to Barcelona. Goal scored by Nelson Semedo. Juanpi picks out Valery. This time Semedo sticking with the youngster as he tried to go inside him, and that'll be a throw to Barcelona.
It's funny how simple things can be if you do everything right, because just with the minimum of pressure, not allowing Valery any time and space, Girona don't know what to do and give the ball away for this throw-in.
Semedo. Piqué. Ter Stegen forced to send it long by the imminent arrival of Stuani. It's nodded back in by Pons. Messi. Absolutely sandwiched there. Valery wins the throw. No, he doesn't. It goes to Barcelona. Semedo back to Piqué, and once more back to Ter Stegen.
And welcome to Catalonia for the world's viewers, those fans who were having to swim for their safety about 15 minutes ago in a deluge of rain are now putting on factor 40 to cope with the sunshine.
Busquets battling. Porto, here's Stuani. Great save from Ter Stegen, and it's cleared off the line by Piqué. The attempt from Pere Pons. The referee gives a free kick in favour of Barcelona. There may be some people who want to have a look as to whether that ball crossed the line or not. Piqué right on top of it. Stuani's shot repelled by the right foot of Ter Stegen. Clearly Gerard Piqué preventing that one from crossing the line.
Two things of beauty there, and one is Piqué's smarts of getting behind Ter Stegen, but the weight of the pass beyond Lenglet into Stuani's path was just Rembrandt.
Semedo to Vidal. Vidal to Busquets. Busquets to Rakitic, and in turn Jordi Alba. Coutinho making a run. Alba had the opportunity to cut inside there. Coutinho just about gets it back to Rakitic. Busquets again. Leo Messi, turning into a sea of red players, holds on to it with ease. Here's Coutinho. Blocked by Granel. It came off Coutinho for a goal kick.
You know, I don't know if the world has these expressions, but in Scotland to a man like Coutinho, this is where we say lucky white heather, mate, because there's a tinge of bad luck about just about everything he's doing. In many occasions, as we see how just Piqué has positioned himself correctly, And that level of smart decision making could be matched up front by Coutinho, and he'd be a superhero instead of being a guy who looks like he's limping through this game.
Yellow card for Sergio Busquets as things get a little bit feisty in the closing minutes before the break. Now, that's 3 Barca players on a yellow: Lenglet, Busquets and Vidal. And if I'm not mistaken, Bernardo Espinosa as well for the home side.
Yeah, it's a factor that's come into Busquets' game recently. If you allow him time and space, he'll do the things he always did brilliantly in brilliant fashion. But when things are pacey or when he's isolated, tackles like that are becoming the norm.
It's a free kick to the home side. Only Suarez and Messi staying up for Barcelona.
Another big high line with Ter Stegen out nearly at the penalty spot.
Floated into the area, nobody gets a touch. Down goes Alcalá under the challenge of Busquets, and the referee gives a goal kick, unimpressed by Alcalá's face in his hands. Well, I think probably the fact that Busquets is already on a yellow, making Alcalá do a little bit of theatrics there. There's a slightest of contact as they go up for the ball, but I think the referee got that one spot on.
It's a real grey area. Pros and coaches will always say to you, how can a player jump absolutely without any extension of his arm whatsoever? And I did feel as if Alcalá jumped into the arm, but you and I both know that some referees in certain circumstances would have said, for my own safety, there are assessors looking at me, anytime an arm contacts with the face, I'm going to give a free kick. So I think Busquets, grey area though it may have been, ran a little bit of a risk there.
Longley sending that one long. Espinosa through the middle. It's left. And the shot off target. And calling for it to his left was Valery, but Granel felt the opportunity was there.
From the point of view of Girona, the frustrating thing is he's capable of so much more. He's one of La Liga's exceptional left-footed players that should have gone on target. At that distance, you can't ask him to burst the net, but just even the position he took up is further evidence as we approach half-time that Girona are well capable of taking a point or points from this game in the second half.
Here's Valery. Back to Aleix Granel. His cross is blocked by Vidal superbly. Semedo under pressure here. Granel got the block in. Ter Stegen forced to sprint out of his 6-yard box and grasp it. The minute that has been added of stoppage time reaches its conclusion as Coutinho plays that one back to Rakitic. In turn square to Gerard Piqué. Back to Ter Stegen. And that is that for the opening half in Montilivi. The players go in at half-time with the score Girona 0, Football Club Barcelona 1.
Genuinely dramatic in many phases of the game. Girona will go off knowing that they could have defended the goal, they conceded better, and that in normal circumstances they might even have been 1-0 up, given the way in which Piqué was so smart in getting behind Ter Stegen to prevent the goal going in. There's been enough of Girona's play to know that if they up their gears a little bit, they are able to cause Barcelona to suffer. This is not one of these fifth gear high throttle performances from Barcelona just yet. It means that the next 45 minutes hold entertainment and threat, I think, to the Spanish champions.
Entertainment and threat, which we will be bringing you as the second half begins in just about 14 minutes' time.
In the moments that matter, it won't let you down.
This programme is sponsored by Bet365.
You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Sometimes people say they're fine when they're not. But with 1 in 4 experiencing a mental health problem, to really find out, ask twice.
You sure you're all right?
Actually, I could do with some help.
Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, do you mind?
Football Club Barcelona, it's 1-0 after the opening 45 minutes. The goal scored by Nelson Semedo. It's been a somewhat subdued performance by Barcelona. Much of the credit to that has to go to the players you can see on your screens there in red and white. Porto, the player just waiting at the top of the steps, has had a particularly decent first half, causing problems to the Barca defence. Marc-Andre ter Stegen was forced to make a save from him. But in fact, to make a save from Stuani, and then the rebound fell to Porto. Cleared off the line by Gerard Piqué in the closing minutes of that first half. The Girona fans, I'm sure, will be feeling a certain amount of optimism that there could be something to get out of this second half. It's 1-0, as I say. The players waiting to trot out onto the pitch. Here comes the referee, Mr. González Fuertes, who's had to use reviews from the VAR on a couple of occasions in the first half. Not for any major controversial decisions, just to be absolutely sure that his original take on things was right. There was an offside decision that went against Barcelona that was questioned, and also a bit of contact waiting for a ball to come down between Lenglet and, it slips my mind now, Graham, which of the Barca players it was, but the referee decided that Lenglet, although there was a light contact with his arm, was nothing worth taking further disciplinary measures about. And that's important, because Lenglet, one of the three Barca players to pick up a yellow card in the first half.
And taking that point that you raised there, the idea that Girona's fans can be confident that there is a potential fight back coming in this match partly stems from the last three matches, 2 in the Cup as well as in the league, where a total of 17 goals have been scored, where Atleti have been held to draws on 2 occasions. I think as well, Eusebio's a smart guy who actually shared a team in a Cup Winners' Cup that they won under Johan Cruyff at Barcelona. Eusebio and Valverde were together for a couple of seasons of Football Club Barcelona, taught by the great man. They'll know that the fact that 3 bookings per Barca mean that at some stage Valverde will probably protect them, change them. Changes give you opportunities. Both of these sides involved in midweek games in the Cup. Who will remain alert longest?
Barcelona in yellow get things underway in the second half. Leo Messi goes down and wins a free kick, brought down there by Aleix Granell. This could be an interesting start to the second period for the La Liga leaders. And really important for, I think, Philippe Coutinho to try and impose himself a little bit on this second half. He's been given plenty of opportunities of late by Valverde, yet to really shine this season.
It's right. If he can impose himself, it's the perfect medicine for his ails. The way to arrive at that position, I think, is to begin to make more percentage decisions correctly, rather than doing special things. Do the mundane things correctly, and that will help his team dominate.
Messi to take the free kick. Up he comes, and not Messi's finest. That one, good couple of metres above the crossbar.
It's funny, when he was on that run of constantly scoring free kicks and establishing himself as the #1 free kick taker in professional football around the world in 2018, when he talked about it, he said, well, there are plenty of mine that just go wildly over the bar. He was the one who raised the fact that he doesn't always even hit the target, making, when he does go on one of those spectacular scoring sprees from free kicks, we should appreciate it, praise it all the more.
Oh, lovely little flick towards Rakitic from Busquets, and the referee's decision goes in favour of Rakitic. The starting 11s, as you can see there, just on the bottom of your screens. No changes made by the manager at half-time. Busquets prepares to take the kick. Dummies once, dummies twice, thinks again, and then plays it back to Gerard Piqué. This is Lenglet. Oh, superbly left for Coutinho by Suarez. Coutinho perhaps a little late in seeing the possible return ball. In the end, Alba loses out, and Porto going in firmly.
Without picking on Coutinho, it's our job to point out what's going on, and that means 3 times in the last game and a half. He's given the ball away in situations which leave his team exposed.
Warming up for Girona, Pike saying ho, and Douglas Luiz we saw there. Busquets surrounded by red shirts. Finds Alba. Rakitic, Busquets, superb the way Barca play themselves out of that kind of situation. This is Vidal. Now Semedo, the scorer of the only goal so far. Leaves it for Vidal. Vidal to Busquets. Now Rakitic, he's got Jordi Alba in space. Here's Alba. Returning it to Rakitic. Picks out Vidal again. Now Semedo. It's a patient approach from Barcelona here. Piqué all the way back to Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Langlais. Put into touch by Espinosa. By Alcalá, beg your pardon, and a throw to Barca, quickly taken. Busquets on the ball once more. Vidal to Messi. And Messi wins a free kick. Clearly held back there by Juanpi. He's looked a little bit annoyed at times, Leo Messi, as we see Artur Melo warming up there. Just looked a bit frustrated at times in the first half, Graham.
Surprisingly so, yeah. I still don't know. I'm not sure if you do what the thorn in his side was, because no matter what minor quibbles Barcelona have had with the referee at any stage, it's so unusual to see Messi get hit up and risk a booking and getting problems with the referee. It can happen, but it's extraordinarily rare, and I'm not clued in on what was under his skin.
Little back healer from Coutinho, slightly wrong-footed Suarez on that occasion. Here's Granel, ball over the top towards Porto. Piqué clears, Stuani on the edge of the box, Stuani's through, Stuani! Brilliantly saved at point-blank range from Marc-Andre ter Stegen. How quick Stuani is to seize the opportunity, though. Get beyond the last defender and power a shot on target.
Meaning that's now 2 one-on-one saves. And when the ball comes down here, he shouldn't have the right, but I think it's his confidence and his direct running that gets him with that shot on target. It goes towards ter Stegen, but the German is perfectly positioned. His punch is strong. That's 2 one-on-one saves from ter Stegen, from this man that Barcelona strongly considered signing instead of Kevin Prince Boateng for 15 million euros. Market not yet closed. Girona will be so hoping Uruguayan makes it at least until summer on their team.
Messi nearly losing the ball, fighting to win it back though, showing tremendous determination there. Down goes Suarez, and Messi again having words with the referee. It's a yellow card for Espinosa, the second of the game, and Bernardo Espinosa leaves Girona with 10 men with 40 minutes still to go.
The thing about this is, there's no question that Espinosa commits a bookable offence here, and now that second yellow is merited. The first booking, I would say, was dubious. That's a stamp on the back of a heel. You will see that penalised almost all the time. I think that the first one, which I think was with Messi, was one that, you see, well, my judgment is not as good as the referee's. It's a foul, and I think the majority of referees now, in retrospect, I hold my hand up, might not have given the second yellow. I definitely thought the first one was debatable. There was huge arguments about the correctness of the sending off of Longley in the first league game between these sides. Was it a deliberate arm in the face, or was it not? Here we see the way in which just that directness takes Stuani past his French opponent, head down, eyes on the ball. Very good connection. Pros often use a phrase, too good a connection. It's so sweet that it goes directly at Stegen. But the Germans' arms are strong. That's the gym work.
They had to be, because if he didn't get his hands to it, that takes his head off.
He let loose. The Uruguayan absolutely let loose.
I love the way you pointed it out. Eye on the ball. He's only got the ball between his eyes there. That's the only thing on his mind. Real problems for Girona now. The reaction of Eusebio, that view of him hands almost in a praying gesture, shaking his head, slight smile on his face. He must be tremendously disappointed. Espinosa, hugely influential in central defence for this team.
And that central defence, now they need to reorganise very quickly. They need to work out what formation they want. What changes do they make? Do they try to stick with 3-5-2? Eusebio needs to think quickly and think well.
Just to go back to that second yellow, the foot of Espinosa went between the legs of Suarez, didn't it?
I have to say Suarez did me, because the way in which he went down made me believe fully that it had been a stamp on the back of his heel, at which point that type of challenge, I think, is crystal clear. It's a booking. Instead, Suarez's reaction conned me. I got it wrong. The referee was brought into that same web of, if not deceit, then confusion.
10-man Girona on the ball. Alcalá. How will Eusebio respond to this? He's got, apart from the keeper, the veteran keeper, Gorka Iraithoth, Ramallo, Luis Lozano Muniesa, Pike and Alex Pachon. It's got to be Muniesa or Ramallo, probably Ramallo.
If you go like for like and put Ramallo on, then what do you change elsewhere in the pitch at 1-0 down when you're still trying to win this game? Having erred once, I have to say, in Granet's case, that looks to me more of a bookable challenge.
Rakitic, a grimace of pain on his face as he gets very slowly to his feet.
Camera angle making it look as if the pain was because his shorts were too tight, when in fact that wasn't the case. That's a little bit cheeky, isn't it?
Pelepons there just grabbing Rakitic and making his eyes water a tad. Well, the home fans are certainly riled by that decision from referee González Fuertes.
So are Girona's players.
Oh, well, there's a chance here, though. Here's Stuani, gets into the area, tries to place it. Save number 3 from Ter Stegen, frustrating the Uruguayan scorer. Leo Messi on the ball. It's wide open now. He's got Coutinho, who's not exactly helping with his run there. Messi tries to go it alone and wins a corner. That one came off Pedro Porro, but again, not the best decision taking from Coutinho there.
No, he needed to make a different movement to create space for his leader. Now, from this instance where Stegen picks up the ball, I'll give you back the commentary now in case Barca score.
Leo Messi pulls it back to Alba. He tries to thread it through, it's intercepted. That chance from Stuani came from a moment of hesitation in defence from Busquets. That's a lovely ball to Porto. Puts it back in! So close! That should really be the equaliser. A corner's been given.
And Busquets was petrified that a penalty was going to be given. He was protesting against the decision that the referee hadn't taken. The ball that opened up Barcelona was gorgeous, but Ter Stegen again was a statue. When that ball comes into that corner of uncertainty, he's the opposite of the man who's made these 3 great one-on-one saves from Stuani.
Well, so close there, and no wonder the fans in Montilivi have suddenly found their voices, and many of them on their feet. The reaction to going down to 10 men has been magnificent so far. The corner swung in, headed away by Vidal, only as far as Porro. Granel wins the throw.
Simon, what Eusebio needs to figure is that the anger that is boiling amongst his players right now, the injustice they perceive in the sending off, has fueled them to be much more dangerous, to be much more aggressive. But one, they mustn't get themselves in more bother and get another red card. And secondly, that anger will boil out, and he needs to reorganise tactically to work out how he compensates for the absence of Espinosa.
Lovely ball in for Valerie to Stuani.
No wonder the crowd are asking for a little nudge. Jordi Alba did go shoulder to shoulder. A shoulder challenge is still fully legal under the laws, but the Montilivi is buzzing with injustice. They want that to be a foul. It wasn't. It was exactly what the laws of the game permit, I think. Clever also by Stuani to try and make it look worse than it actually is.
I'll tell you what, if there's one player on the pitch who looks like being the next to score right now, it's Christian Stuani. It won't be Arturo Vidal. He's the man who's being replaced. He's going to be replaced by his
second half, then we get straight into this one of our first leg.
Artur.
you know, he's won his position, he's won respect.
From the restart here, Dolomite with a little cricketer looking for an early strike.
Because he needs
much like
to start
Razak using the advice.
Yeah, when he's taken
from
off
the
less than
restart.
an hour played with 10 men on the pitch.
Good punch away there from Edwin van der Sar.
It's physical.
There's the shot. No, my word! Who's going to fall here to Neymar? Great composure.
Which I think for a
and for
competitor
such a young
is natural
man.
and right.
That composure cannot be talked enough about. Didn't panic on the rebound, took it down and then slotted it away. 4-1, 3 goals the difference once again.
A lot of players have just been hammering that shoot button, trying to head the ball in, but he did take a touch, and he's rewarded for it as well. I mean, that first shot, I thought it was going in. It's hit both bars with the bar and the post,
Body language tells you again, not happy. But with the yellow card, yes, it was a threat. We talked at half-time that there would be changes immediately to make sure no red card. But Artur will run and drag and open up space and pass and pass and pass until Girona, in the eyes of Valverde, are scalpeled open.
almost 70 minutes.
He's also the one who substituted the role Borja would have used, and one of the players who's closest to Borja's capabilities and tendencies. As we see the
And a foul against Barca.
I think it's one of them situations when we're looking at it, Phil, and it's the arms maybe that give you that illusion that it's...
And that's exciting in itself, to see that there's so much competition now in FIFA esports that even at this stage we're having new champions of these competitions. Who's it going to be though, Dan? We've got cross-console finals to come after this. We genuinely still, it's so hard to call.
I mean, Hasu is already in that final. This is his first tournament of the year, and he could potentially be putting his name on that trophy. He has not lost a match so far this tournament. The only other person that's done that has been Tex, of course. Incredible stuff. Actually, no, I correct myself. Nicholas also did it last week as well. If you can put yourself alongside the names of MS Dasari, Tex, and Nicholas as well with unbeaten tournaments, then you know you've got a great future ahead of you.
All right, then. Second leg is underway, as you can see here. It's going to be the same kits again, so no confusion there for you guys at home who are watching. Again, Dull & Mike is going to be in the white. And Nicholas Razak in that road kit. Nice little bit of skill here outside, and he's looking for Messi at the back post. Marcelo wins, I think, his first header of the day at the back post. But you can see already Dull & Mike trying to switch things up a little bit. We know how effective that El Tornado back post cross has been this weekend. He's looking to utilise it early on and just catch and Razak off guard for just a moment.
And whilst it is very effective, the El Tornado back post, we have seen players who've tried to do it over and over again. Tass, of course, had that one game where constantly he was trying El Tornado back post. It became a little bit predictable. his opposition was able to defend against it in the end. So you just need to spread it out a little bit. Try different things, occasionally throw in an El Tornado back post, but then go for something different maybe in your next attack.
Here's CR7 then. On this right-hand side, Scoot turn around the corner, he drops to the floor, but I think that was just all strength from Rafael Varane. Certainly let him know he was there for sure. Would have been a little bit harsh in my opinion to see a penalty being given there. Now Nicolas Razek's going to come forward now, spreads it out wide. Sergio Ramos in that right-back position, I believe now. Interesting to see. Little change in personnel down. Lala off the pitch from what happened last time. And that's what I mean. He's recognised that situation that cost him a goal last time, and he's addressed it.
It's what makes all these pros so good, is just adapting to situations, reading the game, recognising what their opponent is good at, where their strengths lie, and trying to expose them. Speaking of exposing...
Oh, what a save from Van der Sar. Got a big right hand up above his head there to turn it behind for a corner. And now the Dutchman, the icon, comes out and clears lines from that corner. But that's a big save. Big save.
There was a big chance as well for Mike to take the lead. He goes back post again. It's Messi!
Oh, and he's won the header this time.
And he has managed to do it. I didn't know if he was going to win it. I don't know if it was Patrick Vieira maybe he was going up against, but he had that little bit of momentum. He had the spring in his step. And he gets that 2-goal cushion now, which means Razek has to go again.
He just got in front of his man at that back post. You can see it there. Messi just managed to steal in front of the Frenchman. He's not the tallest man on the pitch, but if you get in front of your man, it makes it so much harder to win that
Caps 8 goals for Honduras. And with the Gold Cup looming this summer, probably see a lot of them.
Quickly taken and pulled back.
You see, nothing happens there, but you've got a connoisseur's eye. Artur was like, I don't care about the foul, I don't care that I was kicked. Hand on ball, take it, let's get moving, see if they're asleep.
Exactly.
Top.
Collected here by Aleix Granel over the top, dealt with by Piqué. Valerie, back to Ponce, Luis, Alcalá, Pedro Porro calling for it on the right, instead he floats one in vaguely towards Stuani. Piqué winning the duel. Alba losing his footing, but finding the head of Coutinho. Ponce, neat turn, that was a good run. Poor shot. Gets applause from the home fans. Another player who doesn't hold back. He's given his 100% today.
You'd almost call him the hero of their promotion. He was so influential, local born, adored by the club and the fans. That lovely turn by Suarez. There's your number 9, your goal scorer in theory, who drops and plays like a 10, like a Baggio, dropping deep, taking the ball, swivelling and setting Alba running even before the ball reaches Suarez initially. Automatismos, automatic movements.
Porro into Pike, he gets his first touch, lays it off to Ponce. Lozano comes up against Semedo. Pike returning it to Ponce. Just about falls for Valady. Pere Ponce again. Porro. Well, the idea was great. The pretending that he got elbowed, not quite so impressive to my mind. Well, there is contact to give him his due.
I'm not sure it's quite as painful as made up, but Coutinho, arms to the sky as if to say, well, when will anything ever go right for me? But today, his decision making and his intensity of work still haven't been in the places that will take him out of his slump.
I mean, all he can do is take advantage of the minutes he gets, and he clearly hasn't really done that today. As Douglas Luiz prepares to put this one in, 2.5 minutes to go. An awkward one, dealt with superbly by Piqué, but only clearing as far as Valady, who wins a free kick. It's been
who, me? That Archer literally pointed to the middle of his. Are you sure?
It's been a decent performance from Valady Fernandez. Hasn't given up.
I think at least that when they find the correct position for him, when hopefully Adai or maybe Mojica is back and the left back is not his position, then we will follow him with still more interest.
Douglas Luiz is going to put the ball back in play. Can Girona get some consolation, no matter how slight? They're forced to wait as the referee has words with Stuani and Alcalá. Stuani wearing the captain's armband wants the referee to clear up exactly what he's doing. Just 10 men on the pitch, remember, for Girona since the second yellow card seen by Espinosa. It's driven in low. Swatted there on the near post, put back in by Pike. Falls to Messi. Messi has a look over his shoulder, finds Suarez. Masses of yellow shirts storming forward. Surprise, surprise, the number 3, Graham.
He'll fancy one.
There's Jordi Alba. Coutinho to Rakitic. Piqué wandering back. A big sent back, I think. Getting the 30 goals this season, he's thinking. Here's Coutinho. Does well to get away from Porro. Finds Rakitic. Good defending again by Alcalá. Here's Lozano.
3 minutes up there.
Graham, you weren't too impressed by the tracking back there from
You've sold me out. It's a repetitive factor that when the ball is lost either by him or around him, he'll do what professional players hate. He'll make a gesture of running near the area where the press needs to take place, and then it will tail off. He just gets in the zone where it kind of looks to the uneducated eye that he's done something.
No angle left, the shot stopped, and it will be Suarez who takes a tumble quickly back to his feet as Juanpe clears. Suarez battling for the ball in stoppage time, 2-0 up against 10 men. What a ball from Suarez to Coutinho.
Sensational. And to be fair to Coutinho, that idea of just cutting across I think it was Wampy, but any striker must go across the central defender as he approaches goal, so that there can't be a tackle or else it'll be a penalty. Those things he did correctly. At the point at which he shoots, maybe the cutback to Messi is the better option.
Alba losing the ball to Luis. Here could be the consolation. Lozano cuts it back, where Gerard Piqué, who hasn't put a foot wrong today, it's been almost a lesson in nonchalant central defending.
There we go. And it's actually Alcalá who he cuts in front of, does well, holds back. When he put his foot in the ball now, there's no look up. That's the big thing.
Corner for Girona. Luis swings it in low, cleared by Suarez on the near post. And Suarez wants to get up. I'm not sure if there's much gas left in the tank, but showing tremendous effort, showing that competitive quality he's got. Here's another competitor, Leo Messi. Messi to Suarez. Bono again. Once again the shot, making it a little bit too easy for the Girona keeper. Leo Messi there, absolutely determined to give Suarez a chance, I think.
It's lovely, and to go back to Coutinho, learn from that. Messi's done all that work, he's done the magic, he's done the hard yards, he gives it to his strike partner. Normally Suarez opens his body, just curls it a little bit more to Bono's left, but the keeper does what both keepers have been doing all afternoon. Make sure that no matter whether the ball is near or far, do your job and do it well.
The referee has a look, the whistle poised, it goes between the lips. The final score in Montilivi, 10-man Girona 0, Football Club Barcelona 2.
Very thorough, interesting and enjoyable performance from the champions, because you and I both know, and everybody watching on our channel knows, that there were periods in the first half where Girona's tactics were smart, they were affecting them well. Ter Stegen in particular was being made to suffer with the ball in. There were a couple of really good saves from the German. Now I know what about 90 seconds ago Bono was saying to Messi after the save from Suarez. He came up, tapped him on the shoulder. I thought it was like, try that again, wee man, and I'll still save it. But instead it was, can I have your jersey afterwards? The game was gone, so you bear no malice to that. This is a defeat that will cost Girona nothing in self-respect. Not brutally in the league, but they've run all over the pitch with 10 men for too long. When in midweek they've got a big game and a 2-0 deficit against Real Madrid. More evidence of how much Barcelona want to retain their title, Simon, I think.
Yeah, and it was a workmanlike performance from Barcelona, running out at the end. 2-0 winners against Girona in Montilivi. The Girona players, quite happy to receive the applause of the home fans, as the Barca players do the same in front of that pocket of Barcelona fans. The rain coming down again.
How was Spain? They go crazy for football. And you know what? It's totally contagious. When you watch a match, you become one of them. Can't be football. That's got to be something else.
When he sets it, it's endgame. Volleyball at its absolute best.
Trilka Call Pro Volleyball. Live and exclusive on Sony 6 and Sony 10 III.